All right, Sean Gares, former esports player and 100 Thieves coach,
and current GM slash content creator for Shopify Rebellion,
basically dropped a Coffee Like Zilla trailer for an investigation that's ongoing, basically claiming that he's going to change the hierarchy of Valorant esports forever. Now, on a more serious note, no jokes, because match fixing is a very serious thing. Now, for people who don't know, match fixing is basically when a group of players or even just one player decides that they're going to throw this game for monetary value, basically ruining the integrity of said sport or match that they're competing in. And if you don't know, Valorant is a game that really prides itself on integrity, and match fixing itself kind of goes against all of that. And it's very serious because, like, in other leagues and sports, people have gone to jail and been fined like hundreds of thousands of dollars for match fixing. It's basically like insider trading because people make like bets on the game. A lot of the bets are public. Some of the bets are private. It's pretty easy to catch public betting, but it's the ones that are like private that are really hard to like enforce and whatnot. So like I said, this is a very serious topic to have because the consequences can really ruin people's careers and their livelihoods outside of the game of Valorant if they even choose to quit the game of Valorant. Now, one thing that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about is why did Sean Gares make this trailer? Well, it's because there was another individual called Mrfunhaver who is a tournament organizer of tier 3 and tier 2. And he just dropped everything that was wrong with tier 2, not just with match fixing, but other things with like rank trading and stuff like that. Some things were a little bit less serious, while other things were a lot more. And Sean was actually in Mrfunhaver's chat begging him to slow down and stop because he was having his own investigations as well as Riot. And the fact that he blew this off the lid could have ruined some things. Now, one of the biggest and most damning thing that Mrfunhaver stated is the fact that there was a Riot employee that was allowing people to cheat.
However, it gets kind of worse because there is an active Riot employee that is very high in the anti-cheat department being paid off to let people cheat. And I have proof of this. I have seen it, and it is a very real thing. I can't share that, and I don't know if that's being investigated right now or not. But that is a problem. Because if somebody at Riot is employed in the anti-cheat department and letting people cheat, that creates a problem. And you have individual players who are actively cheating. And Riot employees know about it, and they're being paid to not do anything about it.
Which is insane. That, like I said beforehand, goes against everything that Valorant stands for when it comes to competitive integrity. The fact that they turned off like some kind of client or something to allow people to cheat is insane. And again, all of this has monetary value to it for monetary gain.
And I just want to make this clear, just because someone on the internet says that something is true doesn't necessarily mean it is. Until we see this proof that Mrfunhaver has, it's just a claim, and it should just be treated as such instead of looked at as fact.
Right, and this is something that a lot of people haven't really been focusing on in this story. There's a few other people like Tam May, who is a Valorant journalist, as well as other Riot employees saying that they haven't found anything yet, but they are doing ongoing investigations on this.
And my question is, like, I wonder how Riot is going to be doing this investigation. It kind of brings me back to that whole like saying and thought is like, who polices the police? You know, it would be kind of weird if Riot comes out and says, we found ourselves doing no wrongdoing. I'm like, no, duh. If it's really a higher up at Riot that's like orchestrating all this like match fixing, then of course, how are you going to catch someone who's that high up in the chain? And again, this is just claims from Mrfunhaver. I would love to see the proof. I think everybody would love to see the proof, but maybe it's just one of those things where we have to wait and see, or maybe Mrfunhaver is just saying this to just like put the heat off of him for some strange reason or something. I don't know. Only time will tell.
If you guys want me to cover other things that Mrfunhaver stated in the video, let me know down below and I'll make another video on the other claims. But let's go back to what Sean Gares was talking about, saying that he has evidence that could destroy all of tier 2, at least for North America. Again, we don't know how big this is when it comes to other regions of the world. Match fixing isn't anything new. It's happened in other games. It's happened in Valorant. There's even players who are playing today that have been involved with match fixing. There's actually a Chinese player who's been kicked off a team that has had histories of match fixing. And Sean said that this could destroy the scene, at least for NA challengers, with all the information that he has. Now, the thing is, I've been seeing some really brain dead comments here and there
of people basically just saying, what's the big deal about match fixing in tier 2? It's Riot's fault. Let the players have the money. It's okay, which is just insane to me. How else are players going to be able to make money in tier 2? Basically trying to justify match fixing at that level of Valorant.
Doesn't make too much sense, and to be okay with the idea of match fixing is ridiculous, especially in the tier 2 scene. And like, let me explain it like this. Tier 2 is supposed to be a place for players to hone their skills and act like professionals for the tier 1 stage. So whatever happens in tier 2 will influence what happens in tier 1 eventually.
Mainly because that's what it means to have a culture. It isn't just magically erased when you move somewhere. It has to foster and grow. And wherever that group of individuals go, so does that gaming culture goes as well.
What I'm going to say is like a realistic example of what could happen. Let's say you're a player who isn't getting paid a lot, and then someone comes over here and offers you like, let's say $5,000 or something like that to throw a match. You do it, you take the money. Now, for the rest of your career, since you did this in the dark, you can easily be blackmailed for the rest of your career, right? They don't even have to pay you money to throw matches. They could just be like, hey, if you don't throw this match for us, we're coming out with this evidence of you throwing, of you being bought. So for the rest of your career, you will be compromised. You will be corrupted. So let's say a certain tier 2 player took this opportunity and now they're in tier 1. Now they're compromised in tier 1 too, because just because you're blackmailed in tier 2 doesn't mean these individuals won't blackmail you in the tier 1 setting, which is what Valorant calls the VCT, the Valorant Champions Tour. So this is very serious that Riot takes a good look at this at the tier 2 level, because it can easily influence what happens in the VCT. That's just a realistic example. And like I said beforehand, Sean Gares was comparing what was going on to CSGO's like I Buy Power match fixing, which involved players getting like several hundreds of dollars. But the way Sean Gares describes it is that players are making thousands, like tens of thousands of dollars, which I'm just throwing my 2 cents out there. If someone's offering you $10,000, it sounds like a lot of money, but I don't think $10,000 is enough for you to compromise your morals. Because at the end of the day, someone working at McDonald's or even like an Amazon packer can make $10,000 in a year. It's hard work, but $10,000 isn't necessarily life-changing money. Almost every job in America can make $10,000 in a year. And another thing that I want to talk about is how people are saying partnership era is the cause of the whole match fixing thing, which again doesn't make a lot of sense. Partnership has its problems, but I don't think we can just blame partnership in itself by itself for the reasons why match fixing is going on. There are things that Riot can do to make it a little bit more stable, for sure. But Counter-Strike's tier 2 is rampant with this kind of problems, and it's probably happening in other leagues as well.
And I think Riot is already doing things to address the whole tier 2 situation, one of which is that they're trying to expand the number of Ascension teams that are actually in the league. Again, this is just rumors. Things can change from now until when the original partnership contracts end, which is in like 2027, I believe. So only time will tell how that turns out. But there's a lot of things that Riot can do to improve it, and I think they are going to address the situation in tier 2.
There's another content creator named Sliggy who used to be a coach for Team Liquid that kind of said that people have been fantasizing pre-partnerships a little bit too much. And just to paraphrase him, he says that during the 2022 season, a lot of orgs were inflating the salary prices of their players, mainly because they wanted to get inside partnerships. If you really wanted to see how flourishing salaries and contracts and investments of Valorant was, look at 2020 and the beginning of 2021 as a legit baseline. Again, I don't know much, but if someone like Sliggy, who was actually a part of Valorant, as well as a part of like a very popular organization, is saying that pre-partnership wasn't that much better than what we have right now, then I think it's worth a listen. I also want to mention that Mrfunhaver's stream was taken down by him, and then re-upload it. Some people are saying that he cut out some things. Like one example is a mention of something about like $500,000, which I don't know too much about. But you guys can check out his stream to like listen to everything that he said as well. And again, if you guys want me to cover some of the other things that was said in these live streams, let me know down below. As always, stay safe, be a KDA warrior, and I'll see you guys later.